Hello there. As the month of May kicks off, the Nigerian political landscape is largely dominated by fresh realignments for the 2027 general elections. In what has largely been interpreted as a shifting balance of the ruling party, the All Progressives Congress, APC. The African Democratic Congress, ADC's rescue journey suffered hiccups at the weekend as two of its prominent members and former state governors, Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso and Peter Obi, left the ADC camp and united under the newly registered National Democratic Congress, NDC. At the moment, it's still unclear, even though speculations are rife of the possibility of Kwankwaso and Obi running on a joint ticket. The latest move is largely seen as a possible move that could weaken the decision of opposition figures who resolved at the end of their summit in Ibadan, the capital of Oyo State, to jointly field the presidential candidate in 2027. Now, with the exit of Obi and Kwankwaso, the battle for the soul of ADC's presidential ticket will now be among three titans. These are former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, former Rivers State Governor and Rotimi Amechi, and banker and boardroom guru Muhammad Hayatuddin. Now, both Obi and Kwankwaso were formally received into the NDC at a brief ceremony in Abuja where they were issued membership cards. The NDC was founded by Senator Siraki Dixon, who resigned from the People's Democratic Party, PDP, not too long ago, and the party was registered via a court order in February 2026. The move by the duo to defect from the ADC was reportedly resisted by the party's leaders until the last minute, which turned into a fruitless effort as, they were poised to start a definitive 2027 presidential bid under a new banner. And in spite of all these calculations, however, the ruling APC controls 31 out of the 36 governorship seats and the majority at the National Assembly and state legislative houses. Well, that is the biggest gist so far in Nigeria's political arena. In the studio, I'm going to have a chieftain of the coalition, African Democratic Congress, ADC, Dr. Alex T. Adam. Before then, though, let me quickly notify you that the Kabiru Tanimu Turaki-led faction of the PDP, which enjoyed the support of Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde, has set up a 13-member interim National Working Committee. The decision was ratified at a National Executive Committee held on Monday after a Supreme Court ruling, which nullified the November 2025 Ibadan Convention, prompting the Board of Trustees to intervene to prevent leadership vacuum. On the 13-member team chaired by Kabiru Tanimu Turaki as Taufik Arakpaja as secretary, the PDP faction aligned to the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike has dismissed the faction's national NEC meeting as null and void and of no effect, of course. The rejection of the setting up of interim team signals an unresolved internal crisis rather than a move towards a truce. Well, today we'll continue our series on focusing on the political parties and their preparedness for the next round of elections. In this edition, I host the national chairman of the Action Alliance, Kenneth Udeze. Now, this is our focus on the program today. This is Democracy Today on African Independent Television, AIT. I am Enemaku Ojochegbe. I'll see you again shortly after this break. Don't go away.
Politics and Power brings context and clarity to issues and events in governance, democracy, and development. On People, Politics, and Power, we feature people who shape the events and define the issues.
A lot of the agencies are still struggling with implementation of freedom of information.
The government should come We need Nigeria to work.
We examine the interplay and interaction of politics with power and their impact on policies and the people.
It's about getting the system to deliver the kind of electoral outcome that people will be happy with.
People, politics, and power with Imoni Amarere.
No performing agencies to be held to account, or with the numbers paid after the headlines.
At 1 p.m. every Monday and Friday on AIT.
Get ready for a bold new chapter in political discourse. This month of May, the conversations that matter most are stepping into the spotlight like never before. Political platforms. Every weekday. Premieres May 4th, 2026. Stay informed, stay engaged, be part of the conversation.
Staying with us, if you're just tuning in, this is Democracy Today on AIT. Of course, we're continuing our focus on political parties and as regards the move towards the 2020 calculations, rather, towards the 2027 general elections. We'll focus on the Action Alliance today. But before then, here's a soundbite that one of the chieftains of the coalition ADC, is reacting to the exit of former Kano State Governor Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso and former Governor of Anambra State and the 2023 presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, their exit from the ADC. Take a look.
Let me suggest to you
that my personality, my character, and my values were firmly shaped and molded by my parents when I was very young. And those are based on loyalty, strength of character, devotion, and commitment. And these virtues, so these are things that were ingrained in me as a child. It's too late for me to change. I am who I am. So if you're going to find one person in ADC who is loyal, dedicated, and committed, regardless of the circumstances, regardless of the difficulty, that person is Mohammed Hayatuddin. I'm like granite, I don't change. Second, my record, if you examine my record very carefully, from the time I was in university to the various places where I have worked, I've always been a very, very consistent person. Speculation, temporary setbacks in life do not pull me back. I charge forward. And you as youth, you will see a lot of challenges as you go along the way. You will see a lot of obstacles. You will fall down. When you fall down, get up. Don't give up. Do not give up. Always charge forward. There is nothing that is good that comes easy in life. People go to prison for their beliefs. People die for their beliefs. So this belief in the ADC is not superficial. You have to have it in your blood and your veins. The second part of your question, which came first, the departure of Peter Obi and Rabiu Konkoso. They are members like any other set of members in the ADC. We're in a free democratic space. People can go in and out of associations. That's their own business, and they have their own reasons. It does not in any way shake the party at all. In fact, it helps us to become stronger, more determined, in order to wage this very crucial political war to win the general election in January of 2027.
For staying with us, there you have it, the chieftain of the ADC, Mohammed Hayatuddin. He is insisting that no matter what, he will remain, that if there's only one person that's going to remain in the party, that person may just likely be him. Well, I have joining me now via Zoom another chieftain of the coalition ADC, a former broadcaster. He worked for his, I think it was one of the radio stations in Nigeria. And of course, he is a chieftain of the coalition ADC. I'm talking about Dr. Salihu Ladan. Thanks for joining the program tonight. Let me ask you this one to begin with. Does it mean that Hayatuddin might just likely emerge as the presidential candidate of the ADC?
I think what Hayatuddin echoed are ingrained in the core values of the upbringing of the average respected northern family setup. Integrity matters. Being, truthful to yourself matters. Your own disposition to sincerity of purpose and commitment to a cause matters. Whether that cause takes you to prosperity or it takes you to the point of challenge, you should remain focused. You should keep your eye on the big picture. And whether or not Hayatuddin is angling for, the presidential slot is a call too early to make. He is just echoing his own, his own position with respect to people, leaving a party, exercising their rights to do so. I am concerned about, the character and content of leaders who, descended clearly, have descended from heroes in politics to champions of parochial and primordial sentiments. It is about power, it is about who they are, it is about what they want. And once they do not seem to get what they want, they then, try to migrate to another, another platform. And you can see, Kwankwaso especially is the master of this frisbee politics of migration, from one party to the other. And together with Peter Obi, they are the, quintessential transactional politicians who believe that, they can just migrate and change camp.
Dr. Ladan, Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso hasn't quite made any statement regarding the reason the duo left, but former governor of Anambra State, Peter Obi, did say that the major reason he is leaving the ADC is the fact that the ADC environment is sort of difficult and discouraging political environment. Does it mean that that can suggest that the ADC has anything to make it difficult for people to aspire to become whatever they want to be in a political party like yours?
No, not at all. You see, the problem with Mr. Peter Obi, and he's a person I, respect, when it comes to making a very straightforward Mr. Peter Obi to be a partner to chieftain and to aspire to he can be.
Okay.
And I can assure you, at the time of the formation of this coalition, Peter Obi was involved virtually at every stage. And I can assure you he is the only leader in our party that I can say with certainty that sometimes when meetings were being called, they will have to check with Peter Obi to ensure that his diary is free, and then they will set the meeting up. And afterwards, they will contact the likes of Amechi, Peter, El-Rufai, Atiku, and the rest of them. That was how far the party has gone to show him regard and respect. And what did we see? He has fallen to the victim of the challenges of competition and sometimes the subversion and contradiction that comes into politics. If you don't get what you want, then you think you need to move on to another platform so that you can get what you want. The ADC does not exist for one person. It exists for everybody on a level playing field.
All right. Okay, if that is the case, are you saying there is no truth at all, or there is nothing to believe whatsoever for any reason in the claims that Peter Obi made about difficult and discouraging environment? Isn't there something to discourage anyone who has aspirations? Isn't there a difficult environment? Isn't there anything whatsoever to worry somebody regarding the claims that Peter Obi made? Is all well with the ADC at the moment?
No, there is nothing wrong with the ADC. There is everything wrong with people who have vaulting and inordinate ambitions, and they think they can railroad their ambitions roughshod to the platform of the ADC. Our leaders in the party, Senator David Mark and Rauf Aregbesola, and their positions have been echoed by our National Publicity Secretary Bolaji Abdullahi, that this party is an aggregation, is an amalgamation of every opposition member who has Project Nigeria at heart, who wants to see that the APC-led government, with its own negativities and the anger and the hunger and poverty that they brought to Nigerians, are chased out of power. And let me say this quickly. Look, like I said at the beginning, Obi was not only respected, he was pampered. He was given, all the support anybody in the ADC at the level of leadership can get. He brought, for instance, the National Organizing Secretary of the ADC. That's the engine room of our party that has the responsibility to superintend over internal party, matters relating to election, organization, and what have you. Right. There's not anybody that I know at the level of leadership that has been asked to bring people onto the executive. Now, let me be very honest with you. We are not, we are concerned, but we are not worried. They are exercising their rights to live. That will not dent the prospect and the future and, the well-being of the party going forward. We are determined, we are focused, we are ready, we are gingered up, we have the verve and the gusto to, go out there and fight. And they are moving to a party. The NDC is a boardroom party. All right,
Dr. Ladan, let me ask you this now. Let me ask you this.
Yes.
Two political heavyweights have just left your party. One is very popular in the north, the other is very popular down south, but they have just left. What do you think? Will you miss him to begin? Will you miss both of them?
We'll miss them, but we will not miss, their footprints on the votes that will eventually make ADC victorious. Look, for crying out loud, somebody should tell, Kwankwaso, or somebody should Google the figures. Outside Kano, that Kwankwaso won 900 and plus something thousand votes. Outside Kano, he has not won 100,000 in any state in the north. So this idea that Kwankwaso is, a political heavyweight in the north is being over-exaggerated. Okay. At best, he is a heavyweight in Kano. Outside Kano, he's a paper tiger. He's not anywhere near what, Atiku Abubakar can muster in his own zone in the northwest. And he's not anywhere near, in terms of prominence, visibility, and quality, near even somebody like Waziri Tambol in his own zone. All right. Or even near, I can assure you. Okay, I was going to make a point, my brother. Look, the NDC that they have moved into is a boardroom party. It's a party that was conceived, hatched, and put out there by the APC and the Tinubu-led administration.
Are you sure about that?
I'm absolutely sure. Let me give you a reason. All right? Go and check the records. The NDC was not listed on the parties that were cleared to have, fulfilled certain conditions that will make them eligible for final registration. Go and check in that list. There was no NDC.
All right, we'll see how that pans out in the coming days. But I must thank you very much.
It was just another party that was put out there by the APC and Tinubu-led administration, and soon the same attitude that has been brought, the same strategy, by way of subterfuge, you will see them in court with somebody saying that the party is not either properly registered or is not properly constituted, all the jargons that I have thrown at the ADC. So the safest platform to be is the ADC.
Nigerians will certainly be watching to see how all of this pan out. But very, very well. Thank you very much, indeed, Dr. Salihu Ladan, the chieftain of the ADC, for joining the program tonight.
Thank you so very much.
Very well. That we're not done yet. Let me also apologize that we couldn't get in touch later on with Dr. Alex T. Adam, another chieftain of the ADC, who was supposed to be here, even before now. But I also have joining me via Zoom right now a legal scholar, Dr. Liborius Oshoma. He is on Zoom right now. Thank you very much, Dr. Oshoma, for joining the program tonight. I'll start with you off on this one. You see, there was a summit in Ibadan and all opposition political parties were there, although some political parties, denied being there. They were denied being given any form of notification and all of that, especially Omoyele Sowore and his party and all of that. He denied that. Well, he said he was given the invitation, yes, but that he declined because he didn't believe in all of that. Now that Peter Obi and Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso have decamped from the ADC and joined the NDC, what will now happen to the declaration of foisting, a single presidential candidate by all opposition political parties at the Ibadan summit?
Thank you, first and foremost. Good evening, and good evening to our viewers.
Thank you very much.
Let's be clear. The Ibadan summit was not a summit of one political party. It was a summit of the opposition. And if you're in your news today, you also saw that former Senate President Adolfo Swabara,
yes,
the factional BOT chairman of the PDP, and Sheyi Makinde and others, also met today in Abuja to constitute a 14-member committee. They were part of that summit in Ibadan, put together by a former MAMSA boss, Professor Jerry Gana, to bring the opposition together to close rank. They are all still in opposition, whether in different parties. One would have expected that they will be able to actually, just like the 2014-2015 general election, come together, close rank, and then have a single candidate. But unfortunately, with what we are seeing so far, it seems an impossibility. And if the way it is, they might end up sharing and dividing their votes along the same line, and then just gift Senator or President Bola Tinubu, a second term, with despite the Ibadan Convention, because you have PDP in one side still battling for supremacy. You still have the Wike and the Ayahu faction claiming victory over the Supreme Court judgment, and then the Sheyi Makinde faction. And then before, when we thought that the ADC just had one hurdle to clear, which was Nafiu Bala and co.
That's right.
And now we have seen that some members also have left the ADC, moved to NDC. You move from Africa to Nigeria. So African Democratic Congress, the Nigerian...
Even though the African people are still Nigerians.
Yes, even though the African people are still Nigerians. So they've moved from Africa to Nigeria now. Rabiu Kwankwaso and Peter Obi. It is their right to move. But, one would have thought that they would have been able to close rank. But right from the time the alliance or the coalition started, one could say that it was actually a marriage of straight bedfellow, people who were all ambitious, or like the 2024-2025, where everybody knew that Buhari was coming into the mix with a steady 11 million votes. But in this case, you had, four, three, front runner, Atiku Abubakar, Peter Obi, Amechi, coming into a coalition. One would expect, and the question then was, who will yield the floor for the other? But also there have been insinuation that the Ibadan Ibadan summit was actually not a summit, but a forum shopping for Atiku to box the other contender into a corner, to adopt him as a consensus candidate, and then take Sheyi Makinde as a running mate. That would have left out Peter Obi and Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso. So I think they quickly saw the handwriting on the wall and immediately used the Supreme Court judgment as a springboard to move into the NDC. And the NDC had consistently been calling out to them right from when Seriake Dixon collected the certificate of registration for the party. NDC and PROP had reached out to them as an alternative platform. One would have expected if they were all together, it would have been easier for them to all move into NDC if there are crises in ADC. But from what it is, the 2027 general election might just go the way of 2023 election. It's unfortunate.
Well, apart from that, you see, many people have also expressed serious fears, concerns, and jeers, as it were, that even the NDC, where Peter Obi and Rabiu Kwankwaso have jumped ship to, is not free of litigations and internal crises. For instance, we hear that the NDC legal pressure is coming from rival associations like the African Alliance Party, the AAP, and the All Democratic Alliance, ADA. And that there was a suit filed in February 2026 challenging the NDC's registration and all of that. What do you know about? Do you know anything about these allegations that a lot of people are raising and the worries?
The first one was that the legal advisor of the NDC is the same as that of the APM. But now the legal advisor had come out to clarify that he did resign from the APM as far back as 2025 before the registration of the NDC. That had laid that one to rest. Also, the NDC national leader, Seriaki, former governor of Bayelsa State, Seriaki Dixon, also had come out to say that they started the process of registration as far back as 2017, but that because of, logo, the former INEC chairman had refused to register them, and they approached the court, and the court had granted an order insisting INEC, ordering INEC to register them. Some other party has gone to court claiming that since NDC was not in the process of registration, that the application for registration was not amongst those advertised by INEC as for claims and objections as political parties willing applying for registration, certainly, and that's boom, they just were issued with a certificate that they were going to challenge it. But that said, the suit by the ADC challenging the registration process and subsequently the order of the court would have nullified all of those other issues, all of those allegations that they were not part of the registration process. Okay. Haven't started their registration before now. And then also there's no way they would have been among the political parties that were advertised for claims and objection because their registration process had passed that stage, before now. So certainly the challenge here is that once a political party applies for registration or once a political party welcomes big wigs, certainly, the opponents and those people who are also challenging will find one way to outdo each other. Politics in Nigeria is like a Royal Rumble where they look for opportunities to push out, the other. I listened to your former guest, Senator Dr. Ladan, who said that NDC is a party registered by APC. I would beg to differ because I'm not a member of NDC, but I have also listened consistently to Senator Seriaki Dixon on the floor of the Senate and his vociferous opposition to the APC brand of politics. So certainly, I don't think he would be, somebody that can be used by APC.
All right.
But that said, the NDC should also watch their guard. They should be on guard because this era of politics in Nigeria, anything can happen. So what you have now is a Royal Rumble. ADC will be spoiling for war with the NDC. At the same time, the APC will be spoiling for war. So it's for you to look out for the usual suspects.
All right, so let me ask you this finally before I let you go. Now, a lot of persons have also, many analysts say that there is a suspicion that there is external influence. Well, what kind of external influence could that be? Quickly, before I let you go.
Yeah, like I described the political parties and leadership also here, we're a highly litigious country, especially when it has to do with leadership. Chieftaincy also, even Market Women Association, even National Union of Road Transport Workers, they are all in court.
Yes,
so,
indeed.
But as it may, politics I have described here like a Royal Rumble. So every opposition, even those parties in opposition, will always look for a way to outdo one another. So this is not the time for any member of the party to anybody. This is the time for all of them to close rank. If there were promises made to any members of the party before they join the party, I think they should comply with those promises until they go into their convention.
All right.
They should not. They should learn from the mistakes of the ADC, the Nafi Rabiu Gambo mistake, when he was promised something and eventually his cause were busy. And then the opponent had to, grab him and, now using him to torment them. So certainly for all the parties, this is not the time to allow anything slip, because every small mistake, no matter how little, can be very costly. Remember, even the APC, they are also not free from crisis.
All right.
Before now, let me quickly also give you an example. I always say this. Remember, a former national chairman of the party, Senator Adam Saliu Oshomole, was sacked by using a ward leader, a ward chairman of a party to remove him. So, but good for NDC, they don't have governors, so they are not dragging anything. At
least not yet.
Not yet.
All right.
So they are not.
Thank you very much indeed.
State level. And then also, lastly, quickly, they should ensure that their congresses and convention complies to the latter with the provisions of the.
We'll see how that pans out, definitely.
Because that's the only way they can be challenged.
All right, Dr. Liborius Oshoma is a lawyer and is joined via Zoom. Many thanks indeed for joining the program tonight.
My pleasure.
Dr. Liborius Oshoma is a lawyer, and of course, he shared his views via Zoom. Well, we're about wrapping up now. Our focus on the political parties, and this time around for today's edition is Action Alliance. And of course, I had an encounter with the national chairman of the Action Alliance, Kenneth Udeze. Well, that's our show for today. I'll leave you with that interview with Kenneth Udeze. But don't forget, you can follow us on all social media handles. You can also find me on all social media handles. I'll see you again tomorrow. I am Enemaku Ojochebe. Bye for now. The one-party state keeps, recurring, and the discourse keeps getting larger every day. Now, one party that, we will look at, of course, as I mentioned, is the Action Alliance. I have the national chairman of Action Alliance, Barrister Kenneth Udeze, right here in the studio. Many thanks for joining the program.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate it.
The elections are inching closer. Your party, well, you will say it has been doing well, but many Nigerians are not aware of the activities that you have been involved in. And in the face of diverse internal squabbles plaguing the opposition political parties, how has your party fared so far?
Thank you for this opportunity. Let me use the opportunity to wish the Nigerian workers happy May Day, happy Workers' Day, in as much as they're operating under not really a living wage, but God will continue to guide them. Talking about Action Alliance, let me start by saying that this party is one of the oldest, as at today, registered political parties in Nigeria. You cannot count the first 5 political parties in terms of age without the mention of Action Alliance having been registered in August 28, 2005. And since that, we have been participating in various elections. As a matter of fact, what has kept us moving, or the mere fact that we've been able to at least win some seats, particularly in 2019 general election, the party was able to win 2 Federal House of Representative election and 8 state assembly elections, where we produced 10 legislators. And that is what has kept us. You recall that more than 72 political parties were deregistered after that event. And moving forward, just like you said, Nigerian political parties have been emerged with different political crises. There's no party, including the government in power, APC. But the most important thing is what makes the leaders of the party in order to build the party even amidst crisis. Today, we are moving forward based on the new Electoral Act.
Okay. We
have been able to, at least, if not for anything, get our e-registration, membership registration moving, even as we speak. Nigerians have been flooding us. This morning, when I looked at our registration portal, as at today, we have over 17,000 Nigerians who are online registering already. Despite distractions, our party have been pushing forward to make sure that e-registration, we get it sorted out before the day we are going to submit it to INEC, probably next week, because our party primaries is commencing on the 26th of this month, May.
Okay.
So, and based on the new electoral guideline, you have to submit your e-membership registration, even the hard copy, on or at least 21 days before you start your party's primaries. So since we are starting on the 26th of this month, what it then means is that latest before 3rd or 4th of this month, we should have submitted our e-registration to INEC before we now move into the party primaries.
Interesting. I understand that your party had gone through, some internal squabbles that had to do with leadership issues, I what have you, in the past. There appears to be a very, loud calm in your party at the moment.
Yes.
Where are you now regarding those issues of your leadership issues?
Very well, very well. The issue of our Action Alliance internal crisis is in the public knowledge. We have passed through the stage of lower court. We have gone to the level of court of. In fact, the most recent judgment of the Court of Appeal sitting in Makurdi Judicial Division is the one that most recently I found. That was on the 22nd of April, just last month, where the Court of Appeal Makurdi Judicial Division upheld the Convention of Action Alliance that was held in the 22nd of February 2025. Recall that one of the persons that participated in that convention took the party to court. One of the national vice chairman, North Central, went to his state in Nasarawa, sued the party, challenging the party on the ground that, according to him, the national chairman and the national secretary does not have power to have organized that convention. According to him, he said, our tenure has ended. But after some legal fireworks, the High Court in Nasarawa State affirmed that convention, and he still went to appeal at Makurdi. And as God may have it, the Makurdi Judicial Division of the Court of Appeal have upheld that convention that took place in 2025, and that is where we are. And that is the latest judgment as far as Action Alliance is concerned. Yeah, there is calm. There is seeming calm because what we are doing now is to make sure that we carry people who intend to participate in the upcoming election, particularly aspirants who have been flooding our phones with call, who believe that Action Alliance ordinarily should be the next thought force. Because as it stands today, you talk about the APC as the government in power. You now talk about one of our brothers' political party, talking about ADC, where most of the former leaders of political parties who must have participated in one government or the other, who have trunked into ADC. You call them maybe the second force. But now you cannot talk. We have opportunity. Nigerians have opportunity to look at the next party, because if you look at what is happening in our judiciary and the course of law today, you see judgments, counter judgments. One person goes to one place in Jalingo, get judgment. Another goes somewhere in Abeokuta and get judgment. You now have conflicting judgment. But as it stands today, AA is in a very better position to accept politicians. But we're talking about politicians. These are politicians who must have conducted their background check to know that truly these are the people, the kind of people who can give the ticket of the party in order to run elections. Because what the Nigeria moves forward, it depends on who each political party is fronting on the front line to contest election. Because your country becomes what it looks like based on who and who emerge at the end of the day.
Having gone through such a turbulent, legal fireworks, just as you put it.
Yeah.
Have you learned anything as a party, as an individual yourself,
Yes, yeah.
and as members of the party, in general? What has that taught you?
Yeah, what it has taught me is that we are in a country where politicians can do anything to make sure they cling to power. And there is every need for every party administrator to make sure that they abide seriously, strictly to their party constitution. As long as you follow strictly your party constitution, no matter the turbulence, no matter where the political turbulence is coming from, at the end of the day, you will always stoop to conquer. So we have learned not to always trust every leader that comes out to say, this is where we are. For instance, talking about the opposition. Today, it seems we don't have any strong opposition again. Last time when I was in this studio, I told Funke that the people who have actually gone to ADC to make sure that they form that solid opposition that Nigerians can, rely on. Where they have gotten it wrong is from the fact that they were unable to reach out and consult party leaders, other party leaders. Opposition cannot be built on one strand, one party claiming to be opposition. If you want to take over power, for instance, from APC, it's not something you can do alone. There are ways, that's what we call trade secrets. You come into a place in a boardroom where you stay together and plan your activities on how you are going to win the election. Election is all about numbers, as we talk today. So we have learned a lot of lessons. You hardly trust people, because what you say this morning, you'll be surprised that in the afternoon it will be everywhere. However, there are still people within the system. That's why we'll call on Nigerians who have moral, who have morality in their vein, to come into and join politics, so that we'll find a way to do away with some of these politicians who have been causing unnecessary ripples, causing Nigeria the pains we are passing through today.
Since you still believe that there are people who have what it takes to sort of clean up the system.
Yes.
Now, are you, by any chance, part of the Ibadan summit that was put together by opposition figures last weekend in Ibadan? The intent, according to them, is in order to form a formidable opposition that will wrest power from the ruling class that have brought the country to where it is, according to them. So, if your dream is for a better country, are you by any chance in consonance with that summit?
Well, the summit in Ibadan, most recently, the summit that was held in Ibadan, I must say is a welcome development. But the challenge we have with that is you don't carry a baby. A woman does not carry her baby at the back, and somebody will be mesmerizing with the woman. It doesn't work that way. There's no how you can arrange such an arrangement without consulting leaders of political parties. If you look at what played out in Ibadan, the points they marshaled out are good. But however, how many political party leaders were you able to consult? If you look at that convention, there is no party national chairman apart from the ADC national chairman and David Mark and factional chairman of the PDP, Turaki. No other political party chairman was there. And why is that? Because they were not consulted. And you cannot come out in a public and make a blanket pronouncement saying that 14 political parties, and I learned, I was informed that a name was mentioned as being part of the people that attended that summit in Ibadan. I want to use this opportunity to say, no, AA was not part of it, because the leadership of the party under my leadership was not consulted, in as much as we know that before the congregation of some of these politicians who have come together to see if they could adopt ADC to challenge the government in power, a lot of consultation were made even before coming together. But when you are now taking it up to the next level, there's need for you to consult other political party leaders. So in a nutshell, AA was not part of that Ibadan declaration. And there is every need for leaders at their state to always try and carry other opposition elements along. With the way you are, you cannot come up in the society and maybe in the public and say, we are with party this, party A, B, C, D, mentioning parties, without consulting them. If you look at, just go and conduct the background check. Did you see any member of, for instance, Inter-Party Advisory Council, any of the members there? No. Most political party chairmen were not consulted.
My name is Moa. Remember? You are.
She's stuck
over here. This is a secret between the four of us. This fried cake is so yummy. Wow! Mama made it! I'm in so much for Double Night Festival homework. I'm gonna beat you. If your legs are starting to hurt, you should have a foot bath. Foot bath.